Let me ask you something. What would you do if your husband, the man who promised to love you forever, left you for your own sister? Not a friend, not a coworker, your sister, your flesh and blood. Can you imagine walking into that kind of betrayal? Well, strap in, because what I'm about to tell you is the story of Maya Rodriguez. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why they say revenge is a dish best served cold. Before we dive in, I need you to do something. If you love stories about women who don't just survive, they dominate, smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone who needs to know that the person who hurt them will pay for it. Trust me, you'll want to share this one. Now let's get into it. Chicago. 10 years ago, Maya Rodriguez was living what everyone called the dream life. She owned a successful interior design firm, Rodriguez Interiors. Built it from scratch. Started in her tiny studio apartment, taking on small projects, pulling all-nighters, eating ramen to save money for supplies. Within 8 years, she was designing luxury penthouses and corporate offices all over the city. And her husband? Brandon Carter, a big-shot financial advisor at one of Chicago's top investment firms. 6-figure salary, designer suits. The kind of guy who knew how to work a room. They'd been married for 10 years, together for 12. Everyone said they were the power couple, the ones who had it all figured out. But here's the thing about perfect lives. They're usually hiding something. Now, let me tell you about Victoria, Maya's older sister, 3 years older to be exact. Victoria was, how do I put this nicely? She was the family problem. Couldn't hold down a job, always dating the wrong guys, always needed money, always had some drama going on. But Maya? Maya was the good sister, the responsible one, the fixer. When Victoria lost her apartment, Maya let her stay in their guest room. When Victoria needed a job, Maya gave her one at Rodriguez Interiors, receptionist position, $18 an hour. Simple work. She's family, Maya told Brandon. We help family. Brandon agreed. In fact, he was a little too enthusiastic about it. That's what I love about you, Maya. You have such a big heart. Yeah, big heart, big mistake. It started with a text message. Maya and Brandon were having a lazy Sunday. Coffee, newspapers, that comfortable silence married couples have. Brandon's phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. The screen lit up. Victoria, can't stop thinking about Friday night. You're amazing. Heart emoji. Heart emoji. Maya's stomach dropped. Brandon? Why is my sister texting you heart emojis? Brandon grabbed the phone fast. Too fast. Oh, that? She's just being dramatic. You know how she is. I helped her move some furniture from storage on Friday. She's probably just being grateful. It made sense. Sort of. Victoria was dramatic, and Brandon was always doing favors for people. But something felt off. Maya tried to shake it off. Don't be crazy, she told herself. He's your husband. She's your sister. This is ridiculous. But the seed was planted, and seeds, when watered with lies, grow into monsters. Over the next few months, things shifted. Brandon started working late, a lot. Big client, he'd say. You know how it is. He became critical of everything. Maya, this chicken is dry. Can't you follow a recipe? Maya, why do you laugh so loud? It's embarrassing. Maya, you need to dress better when we go out. People notice these things. Meanwhile, Victoria was glowing. She'd come to work with new clothes, designer bags, fresh manicures. Girl, where are you getting the money for all this? Maya asked one day. Victoria smiled. A weird, secretive smile. Oh, I've been doing some consulting work on the side. Brandon's been teaching me about investments. He's such a good mentor. Mentor. Right. Maya's gut was screaming, but her heart didn't want to believe it. Their 10th wedding anniversary. Maya had planned a surprise weekend at a cabin in Wisconsin. The same cabin where they'd spent their honeymoon. She was excited, hopeful. Maybe this would bring them back together. When she told Brandon, his face didn't light up. It shut down. Maya, we need to talk. Those 4 words. Words that end everything. They sat in their living room. The room Maya had designed with so much love. Cream couches, soft lighting, family photos on the walls. Brandon didn't even look at her. I want a divorce. Maya felt like she'd been punched. What? Why? Did I do something wrong? We've grown apart. I don't feel the same way anymore. I need to be honest with myself. Is there someone else? Silence. Long, horrible silence. Answer me, Brandon. Yes. Maya's hand started shaking. Who? More silence. Who? Brandon. Victoria. The world stopped. Maya laughed. Actually laughed. Because it was so insane her brain couldn't process it as real. You're joking. Please tell me you're joking. I'm sorry. We didn't plan it. It just happened. It just happened? She's my sister. I know. I know it's complicated. Complicated? You're sleeping with my sister and you call it complicated? Brandon stood up. I'm staying at a hotel tonight. My lawyer will contact you. And he left. Just like that. 10 years. Gone. The next day, Victoria showed up. Not to apologize, not to beg for forgiveness, to gloat. Maya opened the door and there she stood, arms crossed, smirking. Can I come in? Are you serious right now? Victoria walked in anyway. Look, Maya, I'm not going to pretend I feel bad. Brandon and I are in love, real love, the kind you and he never had. Maya felt her blood turn to ice. Get out. He told me everything. How you ignored him, how you were always working, how you stopped making him feel special. I gave you a job, a place to live. I treated you like family. Victoria laughed. And I took your husband. Guess that makes us even. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Maya, we're getting married. You'll probably see it on Instagram. She walked out. Maya stood there, frozen, for what felt like hours. The divorce was brutal. Brandon had powerful lawyers. The kind that cost $800 an hour. They painted Maya as emotionally unstable and obsessed with her career. They said she'd neglected the marriage. They said Brandon had tried everything to save it. Maya was entitled to half of everything. Brandon's finances were a maze. LLCs, investment accounts, offshore holdings. In the end, she got the house and a settlement that was nowhere near what she deserved. 6 months later, Brandon and Victoria got married. A big, lavish wedding. Navy Pier, 200 guests, Instagram perfect. Maya saw the pictures. Everyone did. Victoria in a white dress, looking like a queen. Brandon beaming, looking happier than he'd ever looked with Maya. The caption, finally found my soulmate. Blessed beyond measure. The comments were full of congratulations. People who knew Maya, people who knew what they'd done. Nobody said a word about the betrayal. Maya was the ghost at their party, the bitter ex-wife who couldn't let go. For 2 years, Maya was lost. Her business suffered. How could she design beautiful spaces when her soul was shattered? The house felt like a tomb. Every corner had a memory. Every room whispered their names. She'd see their posts, Brandon and Victoria in Bali, their new Mercedes, their joint charity events. They were Chicago's golden couple. And Maya? She was the pathetic ex-wife. The anger was eating her alive. She wanted to scream, to expose them, to ruin them. But that would be hot anger, messy, emotional, ineffective. Then one day, Maya was cleaning out her office and found an old notebook from business school. She opened it, saw a quote she'd underlined years ago. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury, Marcus Aurelius. And something clicked. Her rage didn't disappear. It transformed. From fire to ice. Hot anger makes you reckless. Cold anger makes you deadly. They thought they'd destroyed her. They thought they'd won. They had no idea what was coming. Maya's revenge had 3 phases. Phase 1 was simple. Disappear as a threat. She sold the house. Used the money to reinvest in her business. She rebranded, updated her portfolio, took high-end clients only. She became successful again, but quietly. She let mutual friends report back. Maya's doing great. She's really moved on. She even sent Brandon and Victoria a wedding gift, a donation to a charity in their name. The message was clear. I'm not playing your game anymore. They bought it completely. Victoria even called her once. Maya, I'm glad you're doing better. Maybe we can have coffee sometime. Maya smiled into the phone. Sure, Victoria. Someday, when hell freezes over. Phase 2 was the most important. Maya hired a private investigator, not a cheap one, the best in Chicago. His name was Frank, former FBI, discreet, thorough. I need to know everything about Brandon Carter and Victoria Rodriguez, Maya told him. Every secret, every mistake, everything. How deep do you want me to go? Frank asked. All the way to hell. 3 months later, Frank delivered. About Brandon. Brandon's brilliant financial strategies were borderline illegal. He was making risky investments with client money, taking huge bonuses when they paid off, but hiding the losses. He'd been doing it for years. One client in particular, a reclusive billionaire named Richard Eastman, had lost nearly $2 million in a tech startup Brandon pushed him into. Brandon had covered it up by shifting money between accounts. Basically, a mini Ponzi scheme. It was fraud, career-ending, prison-worthy fraud. About Victoria, Victoria had a gambling addiction. Online poker. High stakes. She'd racked up $180,000 in debt. She'd been stealing from the joint account with Brandon to cover it. Frank had bank statements, timestamps, everything. Maya stared at the files. This is perfect, she whispered. Maya needed a way back into their world, not as a victim, as an asset. The opportunity came 6 months later. Maya's firm was hired to redesign the offices of Keller and Associates, one of Chicago's top law firms. The senior partner, Robert Keller, was a sharp, no-nonsense man in his 60s. During their meetings, Maya learned something interesting. Robert was unhappy with his wealth management firm. They're too aggressive, he said. Too secretive. I don't trust them. Maya paused. Mr. Keller, can I speak off the record? Of course. That firm you mentioned? The principal there is my ex-husband, Brandon Carter. I'm not a financial expert, but I know his character. If you have concerns about transparency, trust your instincts. Robert's eyes narrowed. Interesting. That was all Maya needed to say. Seeds of doubt, planted perfectly. While Robert began quietly auditing his accounts, Maya turned her attention to Victoria. She created an anonymous email account and sent Victoria an invitation to an exclusive high-stakes poker game. Victoria took the bait. Her gambling spiraled. The losses mounted. She started dipping into the joint account more aggressively. Brandon noticed. The arguments began. Their social media posts became less frequent, more strained. Meanwhile, Robert was asking Brandon pointed questions, demanding documentation. Robert's just paranoid, he told his partners. He's old. He doesn't understand modern portfolio management. Big mistake. Robert wasn't just a client. He was connected. Board member of the Chicago Chamber of Commerce, friends with financial regulators. Then Maya made her final move. She took all the evidence Frank had gathered, the fraudulent transactions, the covered-up losses, and compiled it into a neat, anonymous package. She didn't send it to the police. She sent it to Richard Eastman, the billionaire whose $2 million Brandon had lost. Eastman was notoriously litigious, ruthless. The reaction was nuclear. 1 week later, Brandon's world collapsed. Eastman's lawyers descended on Brandon's firm like a SWAT team. The story broke in the Chicago Tribune. Prominent financial advisor under investigation for fraud. Robert Keller immediately pulled his entire portfolio. Publicly, other clients followed. The firm's stock plummeted. Brandon was fired. Assets frozen, facing multiple lawsuits and a criminal indictment. And Victoria, with Brandon's accounts seized, her gambling debts came due. The loan sharks she'd been dealing with started calling, threatening. Their perfect life shattered. Maya watched it all unfold from her beautiful new loft in River North. She felt no joy, just cold, quiet satisfaction. The annual Children's Hospital Charity Gala, Chicago's most prestigious event, where status is everything. Maya bought a ticket. She wore a stunning black gown. She looked powerful, radiant. She saw them across the ballroom. Brandon looked broken, suit hanging loose, eyes darting nervously. Victoria clung to his arm. Smile fake, dress from last season. People were avoiding them, turning their backs. They were social pariahs. Maya waited. She mingled. She laughed with Robert, who now considered her a trusted advisor. Finally, their paths crossed. Brandon went pale. Maya, you look, well. Thank you, Brandon. I am. Victoria stared at her with hatred. You did this, she hissed. Maya smiled, a cold, beautiful smile. Did I? Or did you do this to yourselves? She leaned in close. You took my husband, my sister, my dignity. But you forgot something important. What? Victoria's voice cracked. I built an empire from nothing once, and I'm very good at tearing things down too. Maya stepped back. Enjoy the rest of your evening. She walked away, head high, heart free. 2 years later, Brandon pleaded guilty to multiple counts of fraud. He served 18 months in federal prison. His career? Destroyed. Victoria's gambling addiction got worse. She ended up in rehab, twice. They're divorced now. Last anyone heard, Victoria was working at a call center. Brandon's living in a studio apartment, working as a bookkeeper for $40,000 a year. And Maya? Rodriguez Interiors is now a multi-million-dollar firm, with offices in 3 cities. She's remarried, to Frank actually, the private investigator. Turns out they fell in love during all those strategy sessions. She's never been happier. Here's what Maya learned. Revenge isn't about screaming. It's not about confrontation. True revenge is patience. It's letting people destroy themselves with their own bad choices. It's being smart enough to know when to strike. Maya didn't ruin Brandon and Victoria. She just gave them enough rope to hang themselves. So, let me ask you, would you have done what Maya did? Or would you have handled it differently? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this story gave you chills, if it made you realize that justice always comes, hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs to know that betrayal doesn't win. Not in the long run. Remember, the best revenge isn't getting even. It's becoming so successful that they become irrelevant. I'll see you in the next one. Stay cold, stay smart, stay winning.